Well, hey there, everybody. It's me, Esther Bartkiw, and today's video topic is, Esther, I'm waking up and I'm losing my mind. What do I do? And it's a follow-up video to the last one, which was when people just won't wake up, what do you do? I'm going to put a link below, so if you are interested in that topic, you can access it very quickly. So here's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to talk a little bit about how this topic came to be. I'm going to offer you some very practical suggestions, but I'm also going to weave in a lot of the psychological information and aspects to this, feeling of I'm losing my mind because I'm waking up to so much new information and new insights. And I believe the psychological aspects will really help you as you're doing your inner work, whether you do it on your own or with a therapist, because that's really my background. I am a holistic core belief therapist. That is what I do. It's the foundation of everything that I do, to help people discover, explore, and release limiting belief systems, right, held by the conscious and subconscious mind, to really create a harmony inside. And sometimes we battle 2 belief systems at once, or 3 belief systems at once, and we need help to sort it out. So I'm going to weave in some of the psychological aspects throughout this video. All right, so this will be really good information for you if you are experiencing this. Help, I'm losing my mind. Or maybe it's someone that you know, someone that's close to you, and you see that they might need some assistance, or maybe they are reaching out to you and you're not quite sure what to suggest. Okay, so I believe that the information here will be helpful to everyone. So how did this come to be? Well, I was on Twitter and I received a tweet from a person saying, Esther, do you have any tips on how to deal with this? She said, this is the information awakening to awarenesses, truths, lies, all of that package. She says, I was in tears. I've been in anger. I've been in rage. I have been in overwhelm. I've been in disbelief. She said, and I've been in this. Now what? Is there any hope? And yes, there's always hope. And I'm going to talk about that as well. And I said to her, yes, let's talk about this a little bit, about processing the emotions. And so that's what I want to discuss with you right here, right now. And so first of all, if this is you waking up and feeling like you're going to lose your mind, first of all, I want to really applaud you for being willing and open to challenge your belief systems. Okay, and challenge the belief systems of other people, because your belief systems likely you haven't inherited from other people, right? Someone that you admire, someone who's had influence on you, and you're challenging a lot of belief systems right now. And I know that's not easy. It's a very big step. You're willing to see things in new light. You're willing to consider new concepts, different realities. You're willing to ask questions, to do your own research, and then to turn within and to say, does this feel true for me? Does this really line up for me? You're probably praying and meditating a lot. So well done, because there's a lot of people that are not willing to do it. Okay, so give yourself some credit, first of all. The second point I want to make is, if you feel like you're starting to lose your mind, it's important to remember to process the information and the emotions that are coming up as a result. Okay, often when we learn something new, or we're feeling very big, explosive emotions, we distract ourselves, and we often distract ourselves in very unhealthy ways, right? Booze, shopping, right? Even online credit card ching shopping, like any of the addictions, food, drugs, pornography for some people, excessive TV watching, just to zone out and distract. So be careful about that, because when you distract, you're not allowing the information, your emotions, to process. And then everything sits on top. It's like oil on top of water. and it just sits there and it becomes stagnant, right? And really what you want to do is process the emotions and process the informations and integrate it. And then in that place of integration, you'll feel much more self-power, in control, stable, grounded. And then you're going to be able to make really smart, wise, intuitive choices for you moving forward. All right. So distractions are fine sometimes. Right? I'll often, say to you, distract yourself with something that you love. But in this case, I also want to say and point out, take the time to process this. Okay? Know that it's okay to have these emotions. In fact, if you weren't having these emotions, I'd be thinking, what? Right? Because the information coming out is provoking a lot of emotion. It's okay to have outbursts. It's okay to have tears. It's okay to have anger. Allow them, express them in a manner that is healthy for you and healthy for the people around you. Okay? And you'll know how you like to express your emotions in a healthy way. For me, it was always going to the gym. So now it's being out in nature, being out by the water. Sometimes it's just sleeping. Sleeping is a great way to process information. Being quiet. Maybe you're going to be gardening. Maybe you're going to bake up a storm. Process the emotions in a healthy way. Writing them out. Writing it out. Just going crazy. Pen to paper and allowing that emotion and the energy to move into the paper is a really great way of processing emotion. Reach out to people. If it becomes too much and you feel like you're doing this all on your own, reach out to people. It might be a like-minded friend. It might be a complete stranger. In fact, for many people, it might be a complete stranger, going online, going on Twitter and saying, okay, I'm having a hard time, processing what's coming up. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Does anyone else feel the same? What do you do? And I bet you're going to get a lot of suggestions and a lot of people having an understanding and a compassion. So there's a time to be alone, of course, but there's also a time to reach out. And then when it becomes too much, and I have to do this all the time, okay, just back away from it all. Back away from it all, because there's always another rabbit hole to jump down. There's always another subject to watch. Back away from the videos and the social media and checking, is there another update? Is there another update? Refresh the screen. That can drive you crazy. Back away from people who all they want to talk about is what's going on in the world. This past weekend, we're having a beautiful spring in Bucharest, and it's such a beautiful spring, and I've got a little bit of spring allergies, so please forgive me if I'm sniffling a little bit. But one of my Bucharesti friends and we just went for a walk along the river, and we talked about the ducks that were in the river. We talked about our families. We talked about some of our goals and our dreams. We talked about just girly things, and we had a beautiful afternoon. We went to the vegetable market. We talked about the cheeses and what are the good cheeses, and oh, look at these strawberries, and I want some radishes. And I told her how I cook up my radishes because I like them cooked rather than raw. And it was so beautiful. And we both said at the end of, I think it was 2 or 3 hours, that we felt renewed and we felt refreshed. Okay, we backed away from it. Some people might back away for an afternoon, other people for a few days, other people even longer. It is okay. Now, one of the psychological implications of this that prevents people from backing away is fear of missing out. I know, I have it too sometimes. I feel like I want to know right at the beginning. I want to have all the information. Sometimes I feel an obligation, like I need to know because people are counting on me to relay this information or to vet this information. And I have to just, I had to work with that part of me, that fear of missing out. And it can show up in many different forms in your life. And just really come to terms with, I don't have to know everything. Okay, I don't have to be up to date in the moment with everything. If I find out a few hours later, a day later, a couple of days later, it is going to be okay. Okay, it's okay if other people know something before me. It means nothing about me. It just means that I took time for myself. Okay, in fact, I would love somebody to say, hey, did you hear about this update? Okay, so I had to do a little bit of inner work there with that part of me that feared missing out and create a calmness, bring it into harmony and let it know it's okay. We'll know. And I always trust that my inner self, my inner being, if there is something I really, really need to know and it's time sensitive and it's important, that I will have some kind of impulse within saying, go check, go inquire. There's something there you need to know. I trust that. All right. All right, so when you back away, do something that you love, something that you enjoy, a hobby. This is where you distract yourself, but you distract yourself in something that makes you happy. Okay, that's productive. All right, and then for me, when I'm awakening very fast and there's a very big expansion, and I do feel that having very strong faith is very important for me, and that might be a piece for you to look at. Where do you put your faith? Is it in a person, in a group, an organization, or do you put your faith in God, in Jesus, in the universe, okay, source energy, okay? Do you put your faith in yourself, meaning you know that you are capable and able, and that you, knowing who you are, right? Because you're not the physical body, you are that spark of source energy within. Okay? You were birthed from God, that went inside of the physical body, right? The source within, the soul within is God energy. That's your God spark. And I really find knowing who I am as an eternal being, as light, as source energy, as soul essence, as soul presence, as I am, is very important. In fact, that is going to be the subject of my next live class. It's happening this Sunday coming up on, we're in May 17th, 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a live call, and I'm going to be taking everybody through a journey to align with your soul essence, the source within, the God spark within. Because when you align with the soul essence within, you're aligning with your true self. Okay? And your true self knows that everything is going to be okay, that everything always works out, that, God prevails, light prevails. Some people say light wins. That this is just, a situation here on planet Earth, that you are an eternal being of light, and that even though there's a lot of chaos happening, there's a lot of really positive things happening, right? There's an ascension process, right? We are moving towards positive change. And you awakening is part of that. So I invite you to join me for the class. I'll put a link below. It's going to be about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. And there'll be conscious work and energy work and a guided journey. You'll have a recording to this. I'm also going to help you to connect with your Akashic records during the process. Because, yeah, you can do a session with somebody and get an Akashic record reading, but you are very capable and able of doing it yourself. I'm going to get you started on that. And your Akashic records are like, Edgar Casey called them like the super energy computer. It's like an energetic library of information that you can access to help you to understand your life, your patternings, when you have questions, to get some guidance. All right. And I'm also doing this as a choose your own tuition. Okay, and there's 4 different tuition fees to choose from. So take a look, see if it interests you, and love you to join us. All right, so having that faith and having that belief is very important to me, and I'm going to suggest that you take a look at that as well. Okay, so we're coming back. The topic is I'm waking up and I'm losing my mind and I've got all this emotion coming up and there's probably lots of adrenaline. We'll take that energy and harness it towards something good. Do something productive with it. Maybe it is going to be gardening or cleaning your yard or cleaning the garage or baking up a storm and giving it to people or cleaning out your closets or doing exercise or, getting started on some project that you never wanted to, but now you've got all this energy and you can harness it as, really good, powerful energy, especially if it's something physical for you to do. Maybe you're going to harness it into action, right? Harness that energy to boost inner courage and determination and being gutsy to speak your truth. All right, and however that works, or harness that energy to be a prayer warrior, okay, for the world, for humanity, for a particular person, okay? So the energy, you can gather that energy together, and what you focus on expands, and what you intend is where the energy goes, so you can harness it for something really good. All right, I like to do that as well. Now, when you're feeling this, I'm losing my mind because I'm waking up, you could kind of equate it to going through a grieving process because you're really grieving an old belief system, an old way of life, an old understanding, old perspectives. There's a loss there, right? You're losing a foundation that maybe you've been living from, a foundational platform you've been living from for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Okay, there is a grieving that happens. All right, so you might want to look at the 5 stages of grief, and you can research that yourself because the process of moving through this and processing the emotions is quite similar. So the 5 stages of grief are denial. No, this can't be so, is it? Okay, or just, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Now, you've gone beyond that, okay, but there's often a denial stage. Then the anger, okay, you've probably already gone through that. Then the bargaining, okay, and in this case, bargaining could be anything. Well, what if I believe this and not that? Or I believe this now, but I'm still going to hang on to that behavior, that bargaining, going back and forth. Well, I'm still not sure. Am I going to make the leap? Because if I make the leap, it's going to mean this. And if I let go of that belief system, it could mean this. All right. So that's where some, inner work might happen if you're doing a little bit of bargaining back and forth. Then the next stage is depression. You're just like, oh my gosh, this is way too much. Okay, and then acceptance. Okay, and in our case, acceptance in this situation would be, okay, this is what is happening. I get it. I see it clearly now. It makes more sense than it ever did before. And it's not accepting and saying, okay, I'm accepting it. I have no choice. It's saying, okay, I accept this. And now what? What are the new choices I'm going to make? What are the new actions I'm going to take? What are the new decisions I'm making? So if that kind of rings true for you as I'm talking about this, look up the 5 stages of grief. They can be very helpful, the information there. All right. So more of the psychological possibilities. Okay. And I like to talk about this because, I'm a holistic psychotherapist. Right? I help people to discover and explore and change their limiting belief systems. And so the psychology of it is good to know for yourself and for other people. So really our beliefs are being shaken. And that can really scare some people. Okay? Because we were told, not everybody, but most of us were told that, there is no monster underneath the bed. There's no boogeyman in the closet. And the perv in the park is a one-off. And then you're waking up and saying, no, that's not true. Okay, many of us grew up with a belief system saying that, you know, teacher, minister, politician, leader, the rich person, the business person, the smart person, mom, dad, they know more, they know better, they're wiser, they would never lie to me. And we're finding out, yeah, they did. And some of it was unintentional, you know, belief systems handed down, and some of it was being devious and betrayal and manipulation. And you may feel all of that. Okay. I was duped. I was manipulated. I was taken advantage of. They betrayed me. They betrayed my trust. I've been blindsided. And so you have all these different parts and aspects of you coming up, and to turn within and address those parts and aspects, and to let them know that, you know, yes, all of this may have happened, but you're awake now. You're awake now, and you are smart, and you are capable, and you're able to make new choices. So instead of focusing on what happened in the past, you know, how about we take these new awarenesses and move forward, creating the life and the world that we want to live in. Okay, bringing people to justice, helping other people also awaken to truths, being the light that the world needs now that we are no longer in the dark. Okay. And another part of the psychology of this is sometimes people fall into this, how could I have been so stupid? How could I have been so stupid? And I say that word because that's the word my clients use when they speak to me. And you weren't stupid. You weren't. You were trusting and believing what other people told you. Right? You were working on a belief system of mom and dad wouldn't lie to me, not even thinking that maybe they didn't have the correct information. And you know, believing what teacher said and minister said, and ooh, that person is so smart, and they have so much money, and they have so many degrees, and they have so many businesses and everything. Of course, they would never lie to me. The history books, it's the history books. It's what I learned in school. Why would there be lies in history books? Okay. You're not stupid. You know, you were just kind of going along and, you know, a little unconscious and maybe a little bit sleepy, but you're waking up now. And you are brilliant, and you're smart, and you have the wisdom of the universe within you, right? That spark of you, that source energy within, it's got all the wisdom there. So align with it, get to know it. Okay. And you're proving that you're capable and able just because you're at this place. Yeah, trust may come up as an issue. Who can I trust now? Okay, that's where I said faith comes into this. I trust God. I trust God. I trust God. I also trust myself. I trust myself to be willing to continue to awaken. I trust myself to be discerning. I trust myself to use my intuition. I trust myself, and this was a very big piece for me. It took a long time to get there. I trust myself to not let ego get in the way. Okay, there's a lot of people, they let ego get in the way of awakening. And I'm actually one of those people that I believe that ego is great, and ego is healthy, and ego is very, very supportive when it is optimally functioning as all our parts and aspects. And yeah, I trust myself. I trust myself to not let ego stop me from saying, my God, I believe this for 40 years, and today I have a new piece of information and I believe something else. In fact, if you go to my Twitter account, it's at soul_whispers. The tweet that's pinned at the top says, hey, if you read something that I wrote before and you're like, what? Please ask me if it's still true, because my beliefs are changing all the time. All the time. Okay? And then there's another aspect, one more aspect I want to talk to you about, and that there's a term called cognitive dissonance. And this is when we have two or more conflicting belief systems. And that can have you doing this. Right? That can have you losing your mind when you have all these different belief systems. And this is where inner work on your own with a therapist, with a friend really works, is to sort out through these belief systems and begin to release what no longer serves you, what you know is no longer true, and begin to integrate and harness and see the world through the eyes of new belief systems. Okay? So that also can create this, I'm losing my mind. So, beauties, I know that we're going through a very exciting time here on planet Earth right now, where there's more light coming in on the planet. There's more people waking up. As that happens, we become more aware of the dark, of the evil, of the oppression, of the tyranny, of the lies, of the manipulation. And while it's good that we're awakening to all of that, remember to keep your focus on where you are heading. And I know you're heading for a better life for you and humanity and the earth, and participating actively in the ascension process. And really, you know, the 5D New Earth is here, but we're really anchoring it in, and we're moving on it, and we're living on it. You know, someone made a comment, and it was a bit shocking to me, but it's true. And they said, the New World Order is here. Make no bones about it. It's here. And we are experiencing it with the rules and the regulations and the restrictions and all of that. And, you know, you're going to have to do this and you're going to have to do that. But that doesn't mean that it has to continue on. That doesn't mean it's going to get embedded. That doesn't mean you have to live on that timeline. That doesn't mean that it is going to prevail. Okay? And as more of us awaken and more of us align with our true selves, right, the source within, as we raise our vibration and we focus on the world that we want to live in and create, I really believe that we are going to be, you know, experiencing that here on planet Earth. And I am so happy to be on this journey with you. And remember, if you're losing your mind, it's okay. Allow it. Express your emotions in a healthy way. Harness that energy. Do something really good and productive with it. Allow yourself to feel your emotions and process it, and do any inner work as is required. And I hope to see you Sunday in the Soul Alignment class. And for now, I send you much love. Ciao.